If you're eating, enjoy your meal. I wish you a good day, that everything goes well, and enjoy the video. Get comfortable and pay attention to this story.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and, frankly, complex trajectories in modern music history. We're talking about the unshakable legacy of Lil Wayne. You know, beyond all the platinum plaques and shattered records, there's this incredible duality to uncover. We're going to explore exactly how one of hip-hop's absolute greatest icons built a towering empire while simultaneously battling some intensely heavy personal demons. Now, for decades, a specific childhood incident in his life was written off by everyone as a tragic accident. But in 2018, Wayne laid his vulnerability totally bare. He revealed that at just 12 years old, a self-inflicted gunshot wound was actually a suicide attempt. It's a startling revelation, right? It really forces us to reevaluate his entire career, showing how the core concept of facing his deepest personal problems head-on actually became the hidden engine driving his legendary work ethic.
Section 1. Early Trauma in Hollygrove. Think about the sheer velocity of his early life. Born Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. back in 1982 in the impoverished Hollygrove neighborhood of New Orleans to a 19-year-old mother. His parents divorced by the time he was 2, and his biological father completely abandoned them just 3 years later. Actually, Wayne dropped the D from his name specifically to distance himself from that absent father. But look at how fast things escalated. By age 8, he's writing raps. By 9, he officially signs with Cash Money Records, finding father figures and label co-founder Birdman and his label mates. He was literally a prodigy who was forced to grow up at lightning speed, balancing this incredible, rare musical talent with the extreme trauma of a fractured home.
That suicide attempt at age 12, it was actually sparked by his mother forbidding him to rap. For him, music wasn't just some after-school hobby. It was the essential key concept for how he worked through and confronted his personal problems. So after the bullet missed his heart by literally just centimeters, he made a radical choice the minute he recovered. He dropped out of school to pour every single ounce of his pain straight into a microphone.
Section 2. The Rise to Superstardom. 1 million. Seriously, keep that number in your head for a second. In 1997, he officially joins the Hot Boys, helping them achieve massive success with their 1999 breakthrough, Guerrilla Warfare. But that very same year, Wayne launches his solo career with his debut album, The Block is Hot, and it sold over 1 million copies in the US, earning platinum status right out of the gate. Just think about the stark contrast here for a minute, going from a deeply traumatized childhood in Hollygrove to a teenage millionaire with a platinum record. It is a stunning, almost unbelievable turnaround.
Section 3. The Peak of Success.
So his global consecration really begins with 2004's The Carter, but the sheer magnitude of his cultural dominance absolutely explodes with The Carter 3 in 2008. 1 million copies sold. And we're not talking in a year or a month. We mean in its very first week in the United States alone. It birthed massive, inescapable anthems like Lollipop and Millie, and ultimately won the Grammy for Best Rap Album. At that point, he was completely untouchable.
The absolutely crucial point here is his unprecedented consistency. From 1999 all the way through 2011, Wayne dominated. Even when he took a massive creative risk in 2010 by pivoting to a rock-infused project called Rebirth, which, let's be real, critics completely panned, it's still certified gold. It's a perfect example of how confronting his artistic boundaries was just as intense as how he confronted his personal life.
Section 4. Prison and Legal Conflicts. It's crazy to think about, but while his career was at its absolute zenith, his external life was descending into chaos. In March 2010, Lil Wayne entered the notorious Rikers Island to serve an 8-month sentence stemming from a 2007 weapons charge. But rather than breaking down, Wayne faced this problem head-on through strict, unwavering discipline. His logs from that time, which were later published as Gone Till November, detail a daily routine of working out, writing music, and reading his Bible. He engineered a way to survive the immense mental toll of incarceration simply by staying incredibly focused.
And here's where that wild duality of his life really shows up. Because immediately upon his release for Good Behavior in late 2010, he didn't miss a single beat. He dropped Thaw Carter 4 in 2011, selling 964,000 digital copies in its debut week alone. He utterly shattered historical iTunes sales records. I mean, the guy went from a prison cell straight back to the absolute top of the global charts in a matter of months. No big deal, right? But you know, success on that massive of a scale, it breeds complications. While he was locked up, a literal tidal wave of financial lawsuits hit him. Multiple producers, including Diesel, Bangladesh, David Kirkwood, and the duo Play and Skills, filed these massive multi-million-dollar claims over unpaid royalties and copyright infringements tied to the colossal success of that Carter 3. Basically, the bigger he got, the more complex and aggressive the business problems became.
Section 5. Depression, Addiction, and Battles.
Now, in the hyper-competitive ecosystem of hip-hop, Wayne constantly had to defend his throne while simultaneously navigating all those legal woes. There was friction with 50 Cent that eventually resolved peacefully on stage. A high-stakes battle of status with Jay-Z that started over Birdman's wealth and led to some heavy lyrical shots. And a deeply complex, really fluid beef with Pusha T that escalated over Wayne's protege Drake, which prompted Wayne to release a direct, explicit diss track. Now, we aren't here to say who won or lost any of these battles. What's vital to understand is that Wayne was fighting wars on literally all fronts, in the courtroom, in the streets, and on the charts.
But honestly, the heaviest battle was the one happening behind closed doors at home. In 1997, he began a relationship with Toya Johnson, and they had a daughter together when they were just teenagers. They eventually married in 2002, but the overwhelming weight of fame, the constant media exposure, and his lifestyle severely fractured their stability. They divorced in 2004, and this separation absolutely devastated him, pushing him into a severe long-term battle of depression.
To his credit, he didn't hide from the reality of it, though. In 2006, Wayne openly admitted that his profound struggles with drug addiction and alcohol abuse played a massive role in breaking his family apart. But figuring out exactly how to confront those personal problems became his ultimate test. He later had 3 more children from brief relationships, and despite all the chaos in his life, he legally recognized all of them, maintained shared custody, and pays $11,000 a month in child support. He was struggling immensely, for sure, but he adamantly refused to become the absent father that his own father was to him.
Section 6. Redemption and Unshakable Legacy.
This brings us to how he navigated all of this. Facing his personal problems head-on became his primary mission, specifically for the sake of his 4 children. In 2010, driven by a desperate desire to straighten out his life, Wayne voluntarily entered multiple drug rehabilitation and detoxification therapies. He has openly stated that his only good memories from those really dark years were the births of his children. They were his anchor. He faced down his terrifying internal demons because he knew his legacy had to be about way more than just music. It had to be his family.
Fast forward to today, and he grounds himself in some really distinct ways. He has fully embraced the corporate world, launching his premium cannabis brand GQUA Ultra Premium back in 2019. But more importantly, on a spiritual level, he maintains a really strict daily discipline. He's a deeply devout Christian who reads the Bible every single day. It's how he finds peace and a framework to process a life that has been, well, anything but ordinary.
So, let's wrap this up with a question. How did Lil Wayne's raw vulnerability about his mental health and trauma reshape the entire hyper-competitive landscape of hip-hop? By fully confronting his personal problems, everything from a childhood suicide attempt to severe addiction, and actively choosing to share those battles with the world, he didn't just survive, he paved the way for a whole new generation of emotionally honest artists. He proved that you can carry immense trauma, face the absolute darkest parts of yourself, and still build an unshakable triumph. Definitely something to think about next time you hear a Lil Wayne track drop. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.